Well, I'd just like to welcome everybody again this evening to the Buddhist Society's basic meditation class, whatever basic means in the context of meditation. This is it. I always think that basic means fundamental, absolutely fundamental meditation. And actually, before a few minutes back, I was just looking online at the Tibetan meditation class, which is going on simultaneously. Actually, it's beginning right now, and it was quite clear from, what they've got to say that they're probably doing pretty much the same as we are, because they're doing basic meditation too. And it's great to have Ajahn Barry Subhaddo with us. I see quite a few folks who've obviously been in this class plenty of times before, but just in case you haven't, just a word about Ajahn Barry. Known him for a long time. He's a friend of this class from way back in the mist of time. He used to teach it, actually, or rather, he'd prefer to say he led it at times.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We lead this class. Led the class way back, and apropos different traditions, as well as spending a lot of time in the Thai forest tradition, both as a monk and I guess as a layperson. He also did a lot of Zen training as well. So it's really great to have you back with us. And we're looking forward to you not teaching the class this evening.
Okay, thank you, Colin. Yeah. I'll just do a short introductory chant. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Buddham dhanam sangham namasami. I'd like to welcome everybody. It's good to see so many people. I like what Colin says about the basic meditation, because the way I see it, meditation is always basic. It's always starting again now. If we ever think I'm becoming more advanced in meditation, I would seriously suggest that you knuckle down from the beginning again and realize that there is only now, and so it's always a matter of starting again. I've been asked to say something about Buddha Rupas, which I'm going to struggle here a little bit. I have in the past, 20 or 30 years ago, I tried very hard to find out about Buddha Rupas, and the only book I came across was an iconography of Tibetan Buddhas and images. I couldn't find anything on others. And on my shrine, I have 3. I was so interested, actually. I had 3. There are 3 there, and I went to Thailand to have them made. And I mixed the rupas. You probably can't see it there, but with the Japanese Chinese base, the legs are a Thai position. The robes are Thai. The top head is Burmese. So I sort of tried to mix all the traditions in there. And there are 3 main mudras here. There's, on this side, this is the earth witnessing mudra. When the Buddha awakened, he touched the earth so the earth could witness his awakening. I always see it as a true grounding. Suddenly, he's really grounded. That's my interpretation. The one in the middle is the teaching mudra in the Theravada, this is, and the fingers, 2 fingers, finger and thumb are together, which I've been told indicates he's teaching the First Noble Truth. But don't take that as gospel, because you know, we get told so many things. And on the left is the meditation mudra, with the hands together. On top of the shrine there's a Japanese Buddha in the case there. Again, they're quite different, and there's all sorts of mudras. And to be honest, I have never quite found out about them all, or a fraction of them that way. And also the question was slightly around, what does it mean? What does a Buddha Rupa mean? For me, it's a reminder. It's a reminder that we have Buddha. Buddha was a title. When the Buddha when Gautama awakened, was enlightened, so to speak, he was given the title of being a Buddha. There were other Buddhas around at that time too. There was the Mahavira, the Jain religion. So it's a title, and the Buddhism has inherited that title. So when I see a Buddha Rupa, I see awakened, but not separate from me. I don't see it as something to be worshipped. I see it as a reminder of the possibility to awaken to the here and now. But you know, people use them in all sorts of ways. Some people pray to them. Some people just, I love them. I've got quite a few Buddha Rupas, not just here, because I love Asian art. You see by the scrolls I have hanging there. So yeah, they mean many things to many people. So I think a few of you, I can certainly see one who has sat regularly with me now on the different classes I've been leading. And I virtually always do the same thing, which is a guided sweeping meditation, perhaps with a slightly different emphasis, because it has occurred to me, being around for so long, that often mindfulness is mistaken for self-consciousness. I am doing this, I am doing that, I am walking this way, I am drinking my tea this way, I am cleaning my teeth this way. Well, it can be, but it's mostly self-conscious, I am. So my emphasis is always about, say, scanning the body, sweeping through the body on a particular part. When we shift our attention, there is an opportunity to see our true refuge, that place that is prior to the thinking mind, prior to the samsaric mind, before we create the world, before we project onto everything. We recognize things. We don't actually see them. We recognize them because of our conditioning is so strong. So the emphasis always being on, say, the body is the easiest because it's here, it's obvious, it can't lie, whereas the mind Mara will continually try to trick us. Always coming back to the body, and as I say, stopping, looking, not doing. You don't have to do anything. What I encourage is not doing anything other than being aware. We don't have to get anything. We don't have to become anything. Buddhism is about letting go of that conditioning, those views and opinions. So each time, when we're doing this particular class, say, I suggest we look at, become aware, conscious of the top of the head. Don't project a picture, because sometimes if I say be aware of your fingernails, well, I certainly can't be aware of my fingernails, but I can be aware of my mind stopping when I look. And this stopping is not dull, dumb, or stupid. There is real awareness there, awareness that can function in any situation. It doesn't have to be quiet. In fact, it is always there, no matter what is going on, except basically we choose not to see it because of our conditioning. Covers it up. And it feels like a bit of a risk. If I let go, what's going to happen? I won't, I'll just walk into a lamppost as soon as I walk out on the street. We really are a bunch of control freaks. Instead of just opening, stopping, opening our heart, we want to control the world. We want to get our happiness from the outside. We want to get it from material goods, from scripture, from, well, any way we can that we think will make us happy. And perhaps it does for a very short time, but it just goes on to the next thing. And the whole of society is going through this. And I truly believe that the whole of mankind wants to return to that oneness, to that non-separation. But, it's difficult because the whole of society and our economy is pushing us the other way, that we need to get things to be happy. So what's most important is, okay, so we do this class this evening. The important thing is that when we get up and leave this class, we continue coming back to that awareness. We continue to look. Instead of our attention going to a particular part of our body, that part becomes in our awareness, if that makes sense. We perhaps go to our feet and then retreat a little bit, go back a little bit. So we're not concentrating, we're just being aware. So then we're aware of our feet in our awareness, not placing our consciousness on the, not concentrating on a particular part, but seeing it from that place of awareness. So we'll start the meditation. I'll do two 20, 25-minute sets. If the body becomes uncomfortable, first look at it. Just look at that feeling in that spaciousness, and maybe ask yourself, well, this is what I do, what is that feeling? Is it mine? And this is a matter of responding instead of reacting. We react to things in life, but we need to learn to respond. That response is from the heart, not from the head. So sitting in a reasonably comfortable posture. And just feel the quietness, feel the settling after the effort of getting things together to be at this meeting. The hassles that have gone on through the day, just be, nothing more. There's nothing to get or become. And this isn't about concentration. It's about pure awareness. So being aware of the body from the tips of the toes to the top of the head. No judging, no commenting on the body, no trying to alter things, just as it is. Just becoming aware of the gentle breathing. Again, not following the breath, just being aware of the breathing. Being aware of the sounds, our natural sounds within us, sound of silence, or the external sounds, but not going out to the external sounds, just letting them come and go. They don't linger unless we grasp them and criticize them or like them. So being aware of the head, the top of the head and the back of the head. Just noticing how the mind stops, how it ceases. This incessant thinking. Becoming aware of the sides of the head and the ears. Becoming aware of the face, the forehead, the eyebrows. The eyelids, the eyelashes. The eyes, become aware of the eyes. And just noticing how is the mind, how is the heart mind in that very moment? Is there anything lacking in that very moment? Becoming aware of the nose and the nostrils. and the mouth, the lips, inside the mouth and the tongue. Becoming aware of the chin and the jaw and the cheeks of the face. Now bringing into your awareness, into your mindfulness, your consciousness, the bare attention, the whole of the face and the head, the top of the head, the sides and the back of the head. Just seeing the stopping. Now becoming aware of the neck and the throat. Letting that awareness spread down the shoulders, from the neck down the shoulders. Becoming aware of the arms, the upper arms down to the elbows. What's important here is noticing the mind, or as I say, the heart mind, when there is awareness. When there is awareness, we're not caught or trapped in our fantasies, our thought process, our separation. So becoming aware of the forearms from the elbows down to the wrists. The sides, the back, the front of the arms. Now becoming aware of the hands, the back of the hands, the palm of the hands, the thumb, the fingers, the joints of the fingers, the tips of the fingers, and the fingernails. There's nothing to do other than be aware. Now bring into your awareness your hands, your arms, your shoulders, your neck, the face and the whole of the head. Whenever the mind wanders, which is its nature, and it's divisive by nature, it's not a problem. But we just need to be aware and come back using the body or the breath or the sounds, the sound of silence. Awareness is awareness. So allowing that awareness to spread down from the shoulders, down the back, down the sides of the trunk, through the shoulder blades, down the spine, the small of the back, the arch of the back, the coccyx, the buttocks, and the hips. Just awareness. Now bring into your awareness, your consciousness, the whole of the back, the hands, the arms, the shoulders, the neck, the face, and the head. You don't need to analyze or note. It's just about awareness. So just returning, allow the mind to return when it wanders to all the parts we've swept through or a particular part. And notice, how is the mind? How is the heart mind? It's a question, but not to be answered. Do not answer the question. The knowing will come forth. So now becoming aware of the chest, through the rib cage, lungs, the size of the trunk, the diaphragm, the stomach, the solar plexus, the navel, just below the navel, and the intestines, the groin, and the hips. Bringing the whole of your body, the front, the back, from the hips, the hands, the arms, the shoulders, the neck, the face and the head. Just being awareness. So becoming aware of the legs, the upper legs from the hips down to the knees, the front of the legs, the sides of the legs, the back of the legs. Just noticing feelings, not judging, not commenting, just noticing. Now becoming aware of the lower legs from the knees down to the ankles. And from the ankles down the feet, the top of the feet, the sides of the feet, the soles of the feet, the heels, the arches, the balls of the feet, the toes, the tips of the toes, and the toenails. Without projecting a picture onto parts, but noticing how the mind stops. So we're more in tune with our intuitive side, our knowingness, our knowing side, more than our thinking side. So becoming aware of the whole of the body from the tips of the toes to the top of the head. Now being aware of the breath. Just the gentle breathing, not following it through the nose or the throat into the chest. Just being aware of the breathing, no more. And noticing how the heart mind is when there is awareness. Just gently returning when the mind wanders with loving kindness, with metta. Just come back. No beating ourselves up, telling us what we should do. Just return. So either picking a particular part of the body, or the breath, or the sound of silence, just gently come back. So please stretch yourself if you need to. Change position, but crucially, bringing that awareness into your movement. You can be aware when you change your leg position. It happens, we get used to this awareness, and things happen within that awareness. We don't have to become aware. We are aware when we are present, when we are noticing. We tend to often think we have to do things. The only one thing we have to do that I can see is to be aware, to notice when the mind wanders, to come back to the present moment and be aware of how the heart mind is at that present, in that present moment. And there's a letting go there. We gain confidence in that letting go. As I said earlier on, we're frightened to let go because somehow we generally think we'll fall apart or we need to control the world. But that letting go is automatic when we are aware. And it's not stupid. It can do anything. It can read. It can talk to people. You know the silent thinker from that place, the one who knows. But it's quite critical to bring this practice into our daily life, because we're looking, using the Four Noble Truths, the knowing of suffering. Well, I struggled for years to try to get to know suffering. But when I knew non-suffering, no suffering, it was just a short time, I started to really see what suffering was. Knowing the causes of our suffering, the second noble truth, the attachment to becoming, to try to get away from, attachment to desires, not desires, but the attachment to them. Seeing the cessation of suffering, which sounds like a big deal. But if we really pursue this remembering, we really start to take notice, we see that the suffering does end, if only for a short time. But the more we get to know that place, the more we want to be there. And why would we want to suffer when we can just be in a place of harmony? Of course, there are always problems. I love this Indian saying. I often use this. Pain is compulsory, but suffering from pain is optional. Suffering is compulsory, but suffering from suffering is optional. Because the problem is always what we put on top of the way things are. Becoming familiar with that through the Eightfold Path. Right view, right speech, right action. It's not something we can do. I mean, on one level, yes, we can do that. But on a deeper level, we can be that from that place of knowing, from that place of non-separation. We can truly walk the Eightfold Path until it becomes completely natural and normal Oftentimes it seems to me that we put this, we deify the Buddha say as being something super special. You know, he's a great man, but he was an ordinary man who wanted to find out. We have that equal opportunity by just letting go. As I say, we can't let go, but there is a letting go when we are in the present moment and aware of our non-separation, our true self, so to speak, our non-self, just awareness. Shall we sit, meditate for another period? And then perhaps I might say a little bit, but I seriously encourage questions because it helps to clarify things for yourself and perhaps for others. It actually also gets me going on a slightly different tact from, if I need to look at answering a question. So again, sitting in a posture that's helpful with your awareness. I won't say so much this time. I'll just give the occasional reminder. So be with the body or a particular part of the body. Some parts are more obvious. For me, it's the hands, or the small of the back, or the stomach area, which are easy for me to gravitate back to, or to use as a tether when the mind wanders. So being clear that there's nothing to gain here. There is only a letting go. So just gently returning when the mind wanders. Knowing that place, that refuge. Experiment with different parts of the body. Just to see that anchors the mind more easily. You don't need to stick to one particular part to be aware. If it's move your attention around. But always noticing how, when we are present, how the heart mind is in that moment, where nothing is lacking. Everything just is. If at times the mind is quite active, you can count the breath on the inhalations or the exhalations. Counting to 10, but it's not the idea to get to 10, it's to notice as soon as the mind wanders to come back to 1. Try different things, experiment. Experiment from that place of awareness. Always re-establishing that the awareness. just returning, just using this time wisely. It doesn't happen all the time that we have a group, even if it's a Zoom group to support us to meditate with. Getting to know that place. That place of awareness, or that place of consciousness, or whatever you want to call it. True nature, Buddha nature, non-self. Always looking, always being aware. Not to gain anything, not to become anything, but a natural letting go, allowing our intuitive side, so to speak, to come forth. So just returning, the mind naturally wanders. There's no problem with that. To make a problem of it is just to give it power, just to put petrol on the fire. We need the simple practice of returning to the present moment and noticing how it is. Nothing special, just simple remembering and looking. So I'll ring the bell in a couple of minutes, but please don't think in terms of the meditation coming to an end. This is just the start, and there is only a start, which we can carry on into our ordinary everyday life. So does anybody have any questions at all on what I've been saying? Questions, criticisms, whatever? Not quite understanding what I'm saying?
Good evening, Barry.
Hi there. Where are we? Yeah. Hi there.
Thank you very much for leading us through this evening's meditation. Very helpful.
Good.
You seem to have put some emphasis on the difference between concentration and awareness at the beginning, especially. And it's not clear to me. It seems to me that to become aware, I need to concentrate. And therefore awareness is sort of part of concentration. It's an extension of, it's all the same thing.
Yeah, okay, I'll do what I normally do. Can you feel your backside sitting on the chair?
Yes.
Yeah. Without thinking about it, you can feel that. You don't need to think about it, do you?
No.
Okay. And when you are just feeling that, how is your mind?
I'm not thinking about sitting. That's my mind is elsewhere.
Why is it elsewhere? Why isn't it just with that awareness of the feeling?
Because there are so many other feelings around. My bum on the seat is just one of many sensations I'm enjoying.
But I'm asking you to be aware of your backside.
Oh, to become aware of it.
Yeah, just to be aware. I think you'll find if you look at how your mind is when there is awareness, that it stops. It doesn't go stupid or dumb, but it just isn't thinking. Now that awareness, do you have to concentrate on the feeling of your backside on the chair?
I have to concentrate on becoming aware of it, not of the sensation itself.
So if you pinch yourself,
yes,
and there's a slight pain, do you have to concentrate on being aware of that, or is there just awareness?
No, I can see that being just awareness.
Okay, this is what I'm encouraging. Getting to know just the awareness, without the analysis, without concentrating. Concentrating, it's a valid practice to some extent, but it's not stable.
It distracts from what you're saying. It distracts from the actual awareness.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and that's quite important, because we're so used to thinking we need to do something instead of letting go. Opening. Buddhism is opening the hand from the fist, letting go, learning to know that instant, is that a good word? Awareness, just the way it is. We don't need to control or think about our bodies, the world. We know it all intuitively. And then we can balance the knowing with the intellect. I'm in no way saying the intellect is bad or we need to avoid it. No, it's bringing them back into balance, because we're so one-sided, we're so lopsided, because we think we're so clever. So learning to be simple, learning to be just aware, and noticing within that awareness, okay, you can feel your backside, yes, now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and can you hear me?
Yes.
Could you see me?
Yes.
See, we're fully functional. When we are in awareness, it doesn't mean to say we're denying or cutting anything off. We're there. And the more we get to know that, the more we get to trust it, and the more we can just be that.
It's an interesting thought that you're creating. So what you're saying is basically we are all the time aware of what's going on around us, the bhattas, but we have to become aware of our awareness in order to concentrate on one subject alone, my bum on my seat.
Well, we're not all the time aware. We're actually, most of the time, we're lost in our thoughts, in our dreams, in our views and opinions. So it's not actually a separation there. The way I put it, like, I like walking, and straight away I'll become aware of my feet. I'll almost concentrate on them, but then I'll back off. So my feet are within my awareness instead of my concentration on the feet. My feet are in my awareness, and I can walk and be aware of everything that's going on around me and of my feet. but I'm not focusing in on them. There's just open 180-degree awareness.
I understand. Thank you. If nobody else is going to ask anything, I need one other question.
Okay, why not?
I'll wait for somebody else to ask if they've got. Now, I wanted to refer to the Buddha's figures. It was I placed that question to Colin originally.
Yes, yeah, I guess that.
Everywhere I look, when I read any book, almost any book where there is an image of the Buddha, it's a named image. The Buddha is actually named. And my question was whether all the Buddhas that were, whether we know or we don't know them, are named Buddhas, identifiable by certain characteristics or not. I mean, Shakyamuni, I think, is the most obvious one from my point of view. It's the first one I understand. And it always seems to be always in the same posture, the natural one, pointing towards the earth with the right hand. And with the special headgear, which you seem to call Burmese this evening. So what I'm asking is, are the Buddhas identifiable, or are we just lost amongst hundreds of Buddhas that are sort of...
I wish we were. Yeah, I mean, in different traditions, there are many things. In the Theravada, there are 28 Buddhas.
Are they named?
Yeah, they've all got a name. They go way back into prehistory. Generally, the way I see it is they represent another part of our psyche. I don't know what to say to that, actually, to tell you the truth. There is only one Buddha of importance.
Yes.
And that's here. I'm not saying I'm a Buddha, but if we look at our hearts, Buddhism is about returning to our natural state. As Luang Por Sumedho says, be the Buddha knowing the Dharma, translating that as be the one who knows the way it is. The Dharma is the way it is. The Buddha is the one who knows. You know, I'm a long way from any sort of authority about Buddha images, or you know, I had a quick look today at the Tibetan book I have with all the iconography. Yeah, and that they were all named. They were carrying different things, etc., in their lap, different mudras, hand positions. Yeah, I only see them as an art form.
Thank you.
Hi, Barry. I'm Toto. Thank you for leading us through tonight's class. I had a question for a little while that I thought it might be a little bit of out of scope of the basic meditation, but since in the light of what was said at the beginning of the class, just wondering if you could expand a little bit, because I know there's many different types of meditation, and some people talk about counting to 3 on the way that they breathe in, or to 4, then hold the breath and count to 4. And I thought that's a different kind of conditioning of the thought process. And I thought we're just practicing of being in the now and not doing anything but being. And then you said, oh, you may count the breath, and it just tore me out a little bit. So I guess the question is, how does the basic meditation relates to, how is it different to the other kind of meditation? I just like to have a better idea of what am I doing in my practicing of being.
Yeah.
To get, like, I think I've been practicing for over a year now. Sometimes I think my mind wanders even more than it used to.
Yeah, it does tend to seem that way, but I think that's just because we're more aware of what's going on. before it, we were blind, so to speak, but the more we become aware, sometimes things seem to get a lot worse in that respect. I don't know basic meditation. I know this is called the basic meditation class. It doesn't make any sense to me. You know, this meditation, and that's it. And I happen to think that meditation and mindfulness are the same. I don't think these are two different things. And we, as I started off saying, we can become very attached to techniques. Counting the breath. I know I brought that up, but doing it from that place of awareness is different from practicing a technique. So oftentimes we take on techniques, we sit for long periods, we become extremely good at different things, but we forget why we're doing it. And why we're doing it, as far as I can see, and I'm sure that all practices lead back to that. And if they're not attached to, is pure awareness. I don't really like using pure, but it's a handy word at times. But leading back to awareness of now, because there is nothing else. That is it. I mean, are we looking for some Buddha figure to come down and take us over? And, you know, so we're Buddhas, or there cannot be anything else but the way it is.
Okay, so in that sense, when somebody said to meditate on something, that's actually to think of something, isn't it?
Well, no, I mean, generally it's I am counting my exhalations, my inner. I am doing. The I am needs to go. There just needs to be the counting. But noticing, see, where we generally, I think anyway, where we generally slip up, we don't realize why we're doing it. Now, I can be counting the breaths for the rest of my life. I can become a master at counting my breath. I can count to, no, I can't, but I could develop my counting techniques to count to 1,000. So what? It's worth nothing. I've developed a bit of concentration. But if we use that technique to notice how the mind is in that present moment, then we're actually learning something. We're actually seeing what all this is about. Instead of just doing techniques, I made up this little analogy. There's a canyon, and this guy wants to get from one side of the canyon to the other. So he manages to get a rope over there. Then he has to learn to tightrope walk. And over the years, he becomes brilliant. He absolutely brilliant at walking on this rope. You know, then he could stand on his hands, stand on one leg. And then other people come along and say, oh, please teach me to do all this. But the point is, he has forgotten that he wanted to get to the other side of the canyon. He's become so interested in the technique, the skill, that he's lost the plot.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
I have to reflect on that, but thank you.
Yeah, we because of our conditioning, we tend to attach to everything.
Just
because we think
awareness.
Yeah, looking through from awareness is okay. Like, for instance, I'm meditating. I'm sitting. The mind is wandering, and it's like being on the surfing the net. You go from one thing to another. Oh, that looks interesting. Go there, and the thoughts just carry on one after another. But if you're doing it from that place of awareness, you can think that thought through and it stops. Or you can just not think that thought. You have an option from that place of awareness, and the mind is not out of control. It's not neurotic anymore. You use a thought as a tool, and then the thought finishes, and it's up to you. You might want to think of another one, but you're not trapped in this. Mara doesn't have you by the throat and drag you around.
Okay, thanks. I'd like to give someone else the chance to ask if there's other questions, because I'm aware of the time, but thank you.
I hope some of it makes sense.
By the way,
Hello.
Go ahead. All I was going to say was, if anybody would rather send a chat through, of course you can do that, but that was an interruption. So please go ahead and ask Barry the question.
Chinta, did you have something?
I did, but somebody else, Tulika, is also speaking.
Okay.
Well, would you like to ask first? That's fine.
Okay, mine's probably quite quick. I was just curious why you said 180 degrees awareness.
Well, because it's not concentrated. It's open.
So why not 360 degrees?
Well, yeah, no, I used to say 360 degrees, but I just think, it seems to be a little bit, there is an awareness. It just seems to be, I settled for 180.
Okay.
Hello. Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Great. I was just wondering, if awareness is, would you say it's a very natural thing for human beings?
Yes, absolutely.
In which case, I'm wondering why we seem to have evolved with the conditioning to sort of move us away from awareness to the extent where we now meditate in order to find that awareness again.
Mm.
So, do you have any ideas? I mean, I don't know why humanity has evolved away from.
Well, I would say it's devolved.
That's true.
You know, I mean, the whole of society is encouraging us, in a sense, not to be aware, because it wants us to go out and spend, to get new cars, to get new houses, to do this to become happy, to do that to become happy. And that's the way the vast majority of people think.
Yes, but that capitalism is a relatively new thing, but over the thousands and thousands of years it's taken that we've moved to that direction. I guess there isn't really an answer for it. I just
no. I mean, nothing seems to have changed since the Buddha's time.
You
know, the problems, mankind's problems are just the same. So I assume that they've been the same from early on. I don't know, of course I don't know. But I do know that we're caught in a dream. We prefer this separation until we start to look and see that there is something else that is not subject to suffering, to grief and despair.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I can't really answer that.
Well, I guess there isn't really an answer to that question, but it's just something that occurred to me, you know, that maybe there's an advantage to not being aware. as well. I don't know.
Yeah, there may be. I'm not aware of it, but you know, I don't know what it could be. Because at the time of, you know, if there's an accident, then our awareness goes up tenfold. It appears that time slows down because we become truly aware. So that's an indication of that when really needed, it kicks in automatically.
Yeah. It's more in terms of the whole humanity, but I'm going to stop there because it's probably really outside the scope of this. But thank you so much. It was such a lovely meditation and talks.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. I can only say let's get to know our true awareness. Get to let Mara. We feed Mara. We feed this illusion, this delusion, this samsaric world. Take the food away. Don't give it nutrition. Don't put petrol on the fire. And see what happens. Sorry, carry on.
Hello there.
Hi.
Hi. I was just thinking about being painfully aware, struggling to explain it, but I guess I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I would say painfully aware is it's judgmental. True awareness is no judgment outside of the clarity. So it's not painfully aware. It doesn't really make sense. As I said about pain is compulsory, but suffering from pain is optional. Once we really realize that, it takes away 80% of the suffering, 80% of the pain. Of course, there'll always be pain because we're human beings and we're sensitive psychologically and physically. But we add so much on top of it, which makes it the real problem. We magnify it. We make a mountain out of a molehill.
Thank you very much. I just need a bit of time to reflect on what you've just said. Thank you.
Yeah. I hope it helps. But truly, really stick with just coming back to the awareness, just noticing, getting to know that, because we're so detached from it. We're so invested so much in our mental capacity, in our instead of our intuitive side. Get to know that intuition.
I think I've got a feeling it might help with not being one word for it is delusional, or feel it's maybe being painfully aware, or aware grounds you in reality, so you can learn to deal and cope with reality, and hopefully help one another, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Got John J. Thank you.
Are there any more questions that somebody would like to ask? I think it's been a great evening. I mean, if you want to know what basic meditation is all about, this is it. There's been some very, very profound questions and answers this evening. And I'm very grateful, obviously, to Ajahn Barry for being here this evening. Been great. I think the next time he's back, the last Thursday in June, is the 24th. Everybody's very welcome to come along to that. And indeed, if anybody would like to do some more basic meditation in a week's time, the class will be here to welcome you. So I think, once again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. It's been a great evening, very informative. And personally, it was just great to sit with my mind being a bit quieter than it's been for most of the day up to this point. So thank you again for coming, and thank you very much, Barry. I look forward to seeing you in a month. It's
absolutely my pleasure.
And I think that's it. So take care, everybody. Look after yourselves this week. Be good. And maybe even meditate a little bit over the next 7 days. I look forward to seeing you. Thanks again.
Can I just say something on that, Colin?
Yeah.
Meditation is from now right through every opportunity. Don't wait for 7 days.
Okay.
Okay. Take care, everyone, and don't forget.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.